So, in just a matter of minutes, as I'm recording this, Trump and Zelensky are going to be meeting at the White House. And it's going to be a big meeting. And this time, Zelensky brought the cards, but they've already been in a little bit of a Twitter spat before this happened. And I'll show you what's going on here. Okay, so President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately, says Trump on Truth Social, if he wants to, or he can continue to fight. The burden shouldn't be on Zelensky. Zelensky's not the invader. The invader is Putin, and Trump is taking Putin's narrative and saying, Zelensky, if he wants to stop this, as if the burden's on him. Remember how it started. No getting back to Obama given Crimea 12 years ago without a shot being fired, and it was encouraged by the United States not to create a broader war. Just let Putin have what he's going to have, and don't make this worse than it has to be. And no going into NATO by Ukraine. Some things never change. Well, that's what Trump put out last night at 9:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we see, well, first a comment about that before I show you what Zelensky said. Preston Stewart said, this isn't peace through strength, it's peace through appeasement. That's right. That's what it is. That's a very dangerous gamble for our future. That's a very fair statement. Okay, Zelensky then shot back. And I don't know if he was meaning to shoot back or if he saw it or if he's what, but this was at 10:40 p.m. last night. I've already arrived in Washington. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with President Trump. Tomorrow, we are also speaking with European leaders. I'm grateful to President of the United States for the invitation. We all share a strong desire to end this war quickly. And peace must be lasting. Not like it was years ago when Ukraine was forced to give up Crimea. And this is why I suspect that because he's bringing up Crimea here, that maybe it's a shot back at what Trump just said. And part of our east, part of Donbass, and Putin simply used it as a springboard for a new attack, which is a foreshadowing of what's probably going to happen if they make a bad peace here. Or when Ukraine was given so-called security guarantees in 1994, but they didn't work. Of course, Crimea should not have been given up then, just as Ukrainians did not give up Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv after 2022. Ukrainians are fighting for their land, for their independence. I would say the independence is as much the issue as the land, right? If Russia stops, Russia can just go home. If Ukraine stops, they're slaves. Like that's what this amounts to, and Ukrainians understand that. I am confident that we will defend Ukraine, effectively guarantee security, and that our people will always be grateful to President Trump and every partner. Now, that's very optimistic and very diplomatic, but hopefully something good can come out of this, even if it started off in this very weird way. Russia must end this war, which it itself started. That's right. The onus is on Russia. And I hope that our joint strength with America, with our European friends, will force Russia into a real peace. Thank you. That's right. Zelensky brought the cards. So let's talk about what happened next. Then on Truth Social, we see this. Trump posts this at 9:08 a.m. this morning, a big day at the White House. We have never had so many European leaders here at one time. A great honor for America. Huh? Let's see what the results will be. President Donald J. Trump. Now, he loves just like he's a showman. He loves trying to like everybody look at this. But a great honor for America? I don't read it that way. I don't know what you do. Put it in the comments below. I see it like this. I think Trump sees himself as the grand mediator, and he's up here and he met with Russia over here and wasn't that great. And he's meeting with the Europeans here and isn't that great. And he's above it all. I think that's the way he sees himself. And that's good in the sense that maybe it'll help him swing toward the Europeans, but it's also troubling because of the way that he sees himself here. Okay, now, this is more troubling. Vance will join the negotiations between Zelensky and Trump, according to ABC News. That's 8:15 p.m. Kyiv time. And at 10 p.m., Zelensky and Trump will meet with the European leaders. So there's this first meeting at 8:15 p.m. This is the one to watch. 8:15 p.m. If we look at this, 8 p.m. is about noon. U.S. Eastern Standard Time, so a little after noon, and then 10 p.m. is 2 o'clock, and it'll probably, I don't know, last an hour. Let's say by 3 o'clock, maybe we should know something. Maybe it'll go longer. Who knows exactly how that'll work. Now, Trump also has another bee in his bonnet, which is not a surprise. I've settled 6 wars in 6 months, Trump says, one of them a possible nuclear disaster. And yet I have to read and listen to the Wall Street Journal, which, by the way, Trump likes. It's center right. It's more in his court than not. The Wall Street Journal and many others who truly don't have a clue tell me everything that I'm doing wrong on the Russia-Ukraine mess. It's Ukraine first should be prioritized. And then everything you're doing, you're kind of doing a lot of things wrong here. You're appeasing, and appeasement never really works. I know you're trying to be nice so that he comes to the table, but maybe that's not what he needs. Maybe that's not the prescription. That's sleepy Joe Biden's war, not mine. Come on. You got to, at a certain point, like you own it, right? Like you've been here 6 months. You should be able to be in charge again. Okay. I'm not here to stop it, or I'm only here to stop it, not to prosecute it any further. Never would have happened if I was president. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I don't need the advice of people who have been working on all these conflicts for years and were never able to do a thing to stop them. They are stupid people with no common sense, intelligence, understanding, and they only make the current R/U, that's Russia/Ukraine, disaster more difficult to fix. Despite all my lightweight and very jealous critics, I get it done. I always do. Okay. So that sounds to me like a teenager talking to parents and just being unteachable, not listening to criticism. Is there, and weighing it, maybe there's something here. It makes me nervous. So I was looking at this, like which Wall Street Journal article is he upset about? The White House presses Zelensky to wear a suit for a Trump meeting, or what Zelensky wants from his meeting with Trump, or live updates? It's probably not live updates. So as far as the suit goes, Zelensky arrived in Washington in the same black jacket that he wore at June's NATO summit. Right? It was not just a sweatshirt. Per Axios, U.S. officials had asked if he'd appear in formal attire and suggested that he should. At Ukraine's embassy, he's meeting European leaders ahead of Trump in the Oval Office. Okay, so maybe that's a step forward. I will come back to that suit issue in just a little bit. First, let's look at this. Because Witkoff was suggesting maybe there could be an Article 5-like pact, but it's not NATO, so the Russians would be amenable to that. Okay, so let's look at this. Here, this is in Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Liberty. Security guarantees for Kyiv are a key issue at the heart of efforts to bring an end to fighting amid Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. And now White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has put the term Article 5-like center stage. Witkoff told CNN on August 17th that it was agreed during the Alaska summit that Washington and its allies could offer game-changing assurances. Now remember, assurances in the past have all failed. Game-changing assurances to Ukraine in the form of Article 5-like protections, though he did not provide specifics. Contrary to popular belief, Article 5 does not commit NATO members to full military intervention in support of another member if it's attacked. What it does say is that each NATO member will assist the party or parties so attacked by taking forthwith, individually and in concert with the other parties, such action as it deems necessary, including the use of armed force. So, yeah. So let's see what this amounts to. Since NATO's creation in 1949, Article 5 has been invoked only once after the September 11th attacks. Quasi-Article 5 arrangement would appear to borrow this collective defense concept to apply outside of NATO's treaty system. It would not make Ukraine a NATO member, which is something Trump has specifically ruled out. Okay. Why he's ruling out what Putin's ruling out, I don't understand. It's just that he's just imbibing whatever Putin's selling. Nor would it automatically invoke the alliance's integrated structures. Instead, it would be a bespoke pact crafted by the countries willing to sign on. Bespoke, by the way, even I had to look up. Maybe you're smarter than I am, but bespoke means custom made or tailored to individual specifications. I mean, I've heard the word, but I couldn't have told you. I couldn't have defined it for you. So a tailored pact by these particular nations willing to sign on. So it's not NATO, but even if it's NATO countries, they would come to their aid. Okay. What matters is not the label, but the fine print, who commits to and what and how fast and forcefully they're prepared to act if Ukraine is attacked again. Those specifics are precisely what fuels skepticism. Ukrainians are wary of vague pledges after 1994 Budapest Memorandum, as well they should be, given what they've already been through. So, okay, I told you I'd come back to this. This is Brian Glenn, an American journalist, the one that said, "Why aren't you wearing a suit?" Now, he was in Alaska, and he's given Russian vodka by a Russian propagandist. I showed you a bit of the clip the other day because there was only just a little bit. Here's a broader view.
Yes, this is vodka. This is famous Russian vodka. Good vodka.
This is awesome, man. So, thank you. American journalist accepts Russian vodka. No bribes. No bribes. Just vodka.
Come to Moscow and you can take these 3 bottles.
Yeah, great stuff here. So I don't think he needed to be bribed. I think he philosophically just opposes Ukraine, and I mean, it's just a bad scene. Last thing I'm going to show you here: Winston Churchill visited the White House during World War II, dressed in a wartime siren suit. While meeting President FDR, he sought to persuade Americans to join the war. And this was what he was wearing here was so unacceptable. But okay, hopefully that new suit takes that off. They're talking about that in Ukraine today, which is what a sad thing that they're talking about that when this is what is going on. All right, my friends, tell me what you saw, what you understood of what you saw, what you took away from this. Was this helpful in understanding? I'll be back. I'm going to try to be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's +4 to get the Greenwich mean. And we'll try to work out what's going on here with Greg Terry and Johnny Pierce. So, we'll just kick these things around and hopefully make some sense of what's going on. All right. That's all that I have for you. Thanks for your time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.